Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our candidate forum. We appreciate your attendance tonight to learn more about the candidates and their positions on varied issues that affect our schools. My name is Gary Johnson. I'm the editor of the Leader-Telegram. It's our practice with these forums to rotate the moderator's role among all the event sponsors, and it happens to be my turn this year. This event is organized by the School District of Altoona, the Leader-Telegram, WQOW News 18, Valley Media Works, Wisconsin Public Radio, and the Eau Claire Chamber of Commerce. Now to begin the candidate forum. On April 7th, voters in the Altoona School District will elect 2 of the 5 positions on the Board of Education for 3-year terms. In alphabetical order, the candidates are Terry Neff, Hillarie Roth, and Gregg Weber. The following are the guidelines for the forum. The questions that will be asked were available to the candidates 1 hour prior to the start of the forum. There will be 5 questions, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer. Each candidate will also have an opportunity to deliver a 2-minute opening statement and a 2-minute closing statement. The timekeeper will give a 1-minute, 30-second, and a stop signal to the candidates. Because of time limitations, there won't be an opportunity for questions from the audience. However, plan to stay afterward to talk individually with candidates if you'd like. The first candidate to answer each question will be rotated. We will begin in alphabetical order for the 2-minute opening statement. Terry Neff.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for showing up. I recognize a lot of faces in the audience, and I recognize that this community has a lot of active parents and staff and faculty that work really hard, and I'm glad that this forum is going on so that you can hear our slight differences on policy and decisions we might make for the school district, because I do think it's an important position. Having been on the board for a year, I've learned that Rick Risler said that it's only 1 meeting a month. No problem, Terry, go for it. And I've learned that it's a little more complicated than that. But anyway, and right now, obviously, we have a particularly difficult times in the sense that we have to choose a new superintendent. I feel that the district clearly doesn't deserve, the being in this situation again, having just replaced the prior superintendent. So I feel that, after 1 year experience, partway there to being a more competent and efficient school board member. The Wisconsin Board Association says you need to have 3 years to be an effective board member. Well, I have 1. You got to put me on the board again for another 2 years to be an effective one. This past year has been slightly different also because we've all been trained into coherent governance, which I think almost everybody in this room probably knows about that. It's a new system that tries to make a very distinct differentiation between what the superintendent's role is and what the board's role is. And we spent 5 full days getting trained in that, so I do feel competent in that, and that is one way that I think I can be a particularly effective board member. And finally, I'd say I am a consensus builder. I have strong opinions, but I do believe in everybody working together to come to good solutions. Thanks.
Hillarie Roth.
Well, good evening. My name is Hillarie Roth. I'm the mom of 2 amazing daughters that are currently enrolled in the Altoona School District. I'm so happy to be here, and I thank you all for coming. I'd also like to thank the school district, the Eau Claire Chamber, the Leader-Telegram, WQOW, and Wisconsin Public Radio, and Valley Media Works for hosting this event. So why me? Well, as I said, I have 2 students in the district, but more than that, I am passionate about education, and I am passionate about our students and children, and I love the Altoona community. I'm very involved in the school. I volunteer in many capacities. Recently, I was the chairperson of Local Palooza. That's a show choir event that hosted 11 schools from all over Wisconsin and Minnesota. I was on the planning committee for last year's Color Run. I chaperoned field trips and other events. I was chosen to be the parent liaison on the interview panel for hiring our recent middle school principal. I'm a parent voice amongst educators in a recent book study with the Wisconsin Department of Instruction. And I'm involved as a parent in many other facets. For the greater community, I am a police and fire commissioner for the city of Altoona. I help with a lot of events and do everything from organizing activities to volunteering at them. Most notably, I am the president-elect for the Wisconsin Association for Talented and Gifted, and it's through that work that I've really become involved and gained a greater understanding of the education system and the challenges within. Through WATAG, I've become an advocate on a state and national level for the education not just of gifted individuals, but for all students. My motto is that I cannot change the world, but I will work every day to make it my corner of it a better place. And I can tell you, I promise, as a school board member, I will work hard to do that.
Gregg Weber.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the forum this evening. I am Gregg Weber. I got to use my readers. Sorry about that. I've been a resident of the Altoona School District since 1987. My professional background is that of an educator. I've taught in public schools for 36 years as a full-time teacher and a substitute teacher for 8 years. 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, 32 graduate credits beyond that. I know how the classroom works. I've been there. I've done the job. Now, that may be a little bit different than being on the board, but I think that what is the focus of schools? The classroom. My wife, Chris, is also a retired educator. Our 2 sons attended Altoona schools from kindergarten through 12th grade, both graduating as co-valedictorians of their classes. They are currently successful professionals, thanks in part to the dedicated and talented Altoona staff. Thank you very much. I am also a Wisconsin DNR hunter safety instructor with 20 years experience in that role. I believe that I will bring a unique perspective to the board if elected. I have no hidden agenda. I was approached by several members of my neighborhood and said, would you please run? Probably should have run the other way, but we're going to go for it. If elected, I look forward to helping select the next superintendent of schools, and the values that are established by the Altoona School District that I would like most to concentrate on would be respect, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Thank you.
All right, for our first question, what characteristics and experiences would you bring to the school board, and how would they each inform your approach? Hillarie Roth.
All right, I love this question. My biggest characteristics that I'm going to bring to the board are honesty, integrity, and bridge building. I really think that building relationships is the key to so many things within our society. I feel that as a board, we should have good relationships, not just with the faculty and the administration, but with the students, with the people in the community. We need to hear from them. I do all of that regularly with my work with the Wisconsin Association for Talented and Gifted. I go to Madison. I meet with legislators on both sides, and I collaborate with them on both sides. I'm actually leaving for DC on Saturday, where I will be meeting with legislators to collaborate on education issues on both sides. Education is so bipartisan, nonpartisan, whichever you want to pick. We need to collaborate, and we need to build bridges for the betterment of our students and our communities. I've also worked with the Wisconsin Association of School Boards as a parent liaison on different book studies and things that they've done. So I think my collaborative bridge building approach is going to be a huge asset to this board.
Gregg Weber.
I do believe that my experience as a classroom teacher is going to be extremely beneficial in being a board member. I would actually like all board members to have to substitute teach for a couple of days and see what it's actually like. Not just to go in and watch the teacher teach, but to teach and see what it feels like to be in that position. It's a little different ballgame than it was when I started in 1976. Education is the foundation of democracy. Thomas Jefferson, imagine that, okay? The key is still the students and their success. And I think in order to have that success, the board members have to be honest and open and listening to staff. Seriously, listen to staff, okay? Staff members should be allowed autonomy in their approach to the classroom teaching, okay? You have awesome staff members in Altoona. You have Cole award-winning staff members, but there's still some disgruntlement, okay? And there's still some issues of morale in this school district. We need to fix that, all right? Shouldn't be lockstep, top-down approaches to everything. Should not be, okay? I am also a director on the board for CCA, which is the co-op, mega co-op. I've been that for 5 years, so I have some business management experience with that particular firm. So there we go. Thank you.
Terry Neff.
Thank you. Similar to Hillarie, Jasper is my daughter, and she's in 7th grade, and that really is my, on-the-ground connection to the school district, because she's gone all the way through the system and up to 7th grade. So my familiarity with the system is mostly on that side, the middle down. I'm not quite as familiar with the high school, but through my 1 year on the board, I've met a lot of the administrators from the high school. So I feel that I do have a personal connection with a lot of the staff and administration, and that does help get feedback and information. I was a middle school teacher myself right out of college. I taught 3 years right out of college. Then I thought I was going to be a pediatrician, but I had a hard time with the two and under when I went to medical school, so I ended up being an emergency room guy. I didn't think my medical background would be important, but with coronavirus stuff happening, it might still play a role. Who knows? We do have a family tradition of education. My wife over here, Paula, is a professor of biology, chief of biology at the university, and all the years of education that I went through to be a doctor, we clearly believe in education as probably the greatest gift you can give to your child. As part of the medical background, I did serve on 2 boards. I was on the Hudson Physicians Board when I was a part of that group in Hudson, Wisconsin. And then I was president for a while of the Pierce County Medical Society, and I represented that county medical society down in Madison on the Wisconsin medical board as well. So I do have some medical board experience, and that's about it.
Our next question. How does an elected board appropriately divide responsibilities and decision-making between its policy role and the management role of administrators? Gregg Weber.
Sure, my least favorite question. All right. Policies are set basically to provide rules of operation. I did look at some of the policies that the Altoona School Board has. Your manual must be about this thick probably, but it was interesting to look at the board and school responsibilities number 3, which has to do with the superintendent. And that's results and operational expectations policies. So obviously, the policies have to be established so that there are definite guidelines. How are things going to be operated? The management role, to me, that's more, it's not quite a rule, it's more of a guideline. There should be some individual approach to that, some personal approach. Management, respect, value, constructive approach. That's it, I guess. Thank you. Like I said, least favorite question.
Terry Neff.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on coherent governance too much, but one of the great things about coherent governance is it helps make it really clear the difference between the role of the superintendent and the role of the board. And it's a system that is policy-driven and it's results-driven. Instead of the board rubber stamping operational things, such as who's going to be the new JV football coach and things like that, where really the board really didn't have a lot of insight into before, we're working more on policy results and keeping a differentiation between administration and superintendent and the board doing policy. So again, I don't want to harp on coherent governance too much. The president of the board is a critical figure. Robin Elvig, I think she's in Mexico vacationing, so she's not here tonight, but she spent 12 years of her life given to the board, so hats off to her, because it's not an easy job. The board president, in terms of dividing responsibilities, is an important position. That person sets the agenda, talks to other members about what might be coming up, important issues. The vice president, which Rick Risler is right now, he had to step in once when Robin wasn't available, so the vice president is also very important. And there's a district clerk, which does all of the posting of notes and other things like that. A final note is that we all are on committees as well. The committee role is still being redefined with the new coherent governance. For example, I'm on the technology board, but it hasn't met. So it's clearly not a critical function. But I think it's going to be redefined as we go forward this coming year. Thanks.
Hillarie Roth.
Okay, I had all kinds of notes on this, and I left them in the other room. So, but it's interesting because a lot of what Terry was saying is so true. He talks about the good governance, and I didn't attend 5 days of training, but I'm reading the book. So in my effort to prepare, it really is amazing how well it clearly establishes. And in those notes also, I had written out, which is so beautifully stated in the board's philosophy. If you go online and look at the policies and procedures, right up at the top, it's the board philosophy. And it just outlines it beautifully, that we are there to communicate, we're there to support, and yeah, I had it all written down. So good governance and to echo that as well is really helpful.
Next question. What steps have you taken to be informed of school district issues, such as attending board meetings? What have you learned about the most important issues and priorities of the district? Hillarie Roth.
Okay, well, I really have regularly attended board meetings over, I'd say the last year. I think, Terry, you've seen me there quite a few times. So I've learned a lot attending the board meetings. I've learned a lot about how they conduct business, and the policy revision that's going on right now is a huge undertaking. And a very interesting process. So I think that really is cornerstone, is just getting in there, attending those meetings, reading Good Governance as a Choice has been very helpful to me as well. But it's interesting because I recently, I was at school, I was chaperoning a field trip. I was going on a forensics thing. And one of the teachers pulled me aside in the hallway and said, I really just wanted to talk to you. And this teacher said, so many people are involved in the school, and you see them and you talk to them regularly, and then they get on the school board and you don't hear from them again. Please keep talking to us. If you get on this board, please continue to interact with us, hear us, see us. And I was so struck by that, because I thought, isn't that our role as a school board, is to really get in there and be the eyes and the ears, and basically to effectively gauge how the administration is doing. I do feel that we have to communicate with those being managed by the administration. That's the teachers. If we can communicate with the teachers, the staff, the support staff, then we can get a feel for what their needs are and what the needs of the district are. So it all comes down to ongoing, continued, transparent communication.
Terry Neff.
Yeah, I agree with Hillarie in the sense that I think it is important to be informed. I've kind of actually been going through a personal transformation. At my age, I would hardly say that I was a social media and locally tied into the information sources, such as Facebook. I had deactivated my Facebook page because I thought that Mark Zuckerberg wasn't really running the company properly. But I have activated the page. I hopefully maybe you've seen some of my posts on the re-election. And I do think that whatever your means of staying in touch with the local community, I do think it's important. Again, having Jasper as a daughter in the school system and having neighbors that are on the volleyball team with us and live close by, I think we've done a pretty good job staying informed. But I do think it's important. In terms of issues that are important for the district, I think obviously getting the superintendent choice right this time. And I have also concerns about the morale of not only the students, but also the faculty and staff. Dan Peggs, I grieved for several days after the news came out about him, because I considered him a professional and personal friend. And, obviously, we have to move on because it's clear that, he's not going to play a role anymore. But it was something that nobody could have predicted. Nobody could have predicted that. So restoring morale for the faculty and staff, and also for the students. I think a lot of students looked up to Dan Peggs too. Let's see. Yep, and that's really about it. Thanks.
Gregg Weber.
I guess if you want to know about the district issues, be on the inside. Be a teacher in the classroom for one complete year like I was last year, and listen to faculty members. And you'll find out that there are some things that should be changed in this district. I like our E to the third power, engage, equip, empower. Okay, we've got, go online, we've got the values, we've got the standards of excellence, all these make sense. But some of them aren't being followed, in my opinion, exactly. As far as changes, let's see, priorities and issues. All right, first, we've got a growth problem. We need to address that. I think we're probably already behind the ball on that. This community is growing exponentially. And class size will be an issue, facilities are going to be an issue. Virtual online opportunities, are we going after some of those or not? We should be if we aren't. Technical improvement updates, that's always going to be an issue. Staff morale should be addressed. Health insurance costs, are we looking at self-funding something? But again, if you're going to improve staff compensation, which I think should be improved, you've got to find other ways to cut costs to help put the money, to me, in a better place. We need to do some political lobbying. The state funding formula, no, doesn't work. It's inadequate, needs to be changed, or you're going to have continual referendums just to run your day-by-day school costs. That's my 2 cents.
Next question. From a policy perspective, what are the most important interests of each of these stakeholders? Taxpayers, administration, staff, students? Terry Neff.
Yes, Mike Markgren, I don't see here tonight, but he is a business manager for the school district, and he's done a wonderful job. Every time we look at the budget, it says cash position has never been better. And how does that relate to taxpayers? Well, the mill rate is how it relates to taxpayers and property owners. Mill rates basically staying about the same, even though we just built a $3 million athletic complex. And so my hat's off to Mike for helping the school district manage their finances properly, so there's been no increase in taxes or mill rate or whatever. In terms of administration, I think from everything I've picked up from administration people, they're all on board with coherent governance. I think everybody recognizes that it's a way to move forward more efficiently and to do better things for the for the school district. In terms of staff, I think the staff morale is a little low right now, at least from what I pick up, and I think that the staff deserves a good district administrator, superintendent for our next choice, and I hope that the community and the staff all are part of that decision making, and that's a major reason why I want to be on board, is to help with that choice. Lastly, students. Students are the bottom line for this whole process. The staff, the faculty, the board, it's all about the students, and so that's obviously the bottom line. Thanks.
Gregg Weber.
Obviously, with your taxpayers, their input, nobody wants to increase taxes. Nobody does. But we've got demographics that we need to consider. You've got people that are in the senior type category, such as myself, that may be on a fixed income. So they're going to have a different approach to having a higher mill rate than someone with a family. But look at all your families that have moved into Altoona. Why? What attracts people to a community? You know the most important thing? The school system. That's one of the most important things. We do have a good school system here. We want to keep it that way, so we need to do whatever has to happen to keep this a really good school system. Administration, obviously, as Terry said, we've had a blow, a terrible, serious blow with Mr. Peggs. We need to move on. We've got to find a new administrator that we can trust and rely on that will give us some serious leadership, okay? Staff, again, it should be a place that you wake up in the morning and you want to go to work. You look forward to doing your job. And I think most teachers look forward to doing their job, but there can be some improvements in basically facilitating that particular position. Same thing with the kids, all right? Hopefully they want to come to school. It's an awesome place to be. It should be. It should be the best place they can be during the day. Okay, that's what we need to do. Ensure that they feel that way and that they're going to improve and be successful. Act 10 basically eviscerated the educators' input and power. And that was kind of a knife in the back of educators.
Hillarie Roth.
Thank you. So I'm going to be honest, I struggled with this question because as far as the policy perspective of each of those stakeholders, I love how you guys are revising the policy right now. They're revising a lot of the policies for those that aren't regular attendees like I've really gotten into. They're categorizing and revising all of these policies, and it makes it so easy to find the information. So students are under the 400 policies, staff are 500, administration 200. I'm just going to focus in on that taxpayer one because I didn't think I'd have enough time in 2 minutes to focus on every single category. So the taxpayers are under the category or policy numbers 600 and 800. And those really speak to how we're handling our fiscal responsibilities, but also to the role of the school within the community. And that's what I really love, is looking at the role of the school in the community. Yes, the role of the school is very much to educate our students. Like that's you can't argue with that. But the role of a school in our community, really, it's more than just educating students. It's community involvement. It's how many people come into this building and are engaged in activities and going to football games on Friday nights and, you know, really having that open policy that Altoona does. You know, the students are going to graduate from Altoona and they're always going to be from Altoona. I'm still from my hometown. And that school played such a pivotal role in my growing up. The school was the foundation of all of those memories of where I'm from. So we just need to make sure that we're giving these students the best that we can.
Our final question tonight. The Altoona School Board parted ways with its superintendent in 2018 after staff members alleged her management style created a climate of fear and intimidation. The superintendent hired in 2019 now faces criminal charges in federal court. What can the school board do to ensure it makes the proper choice in its selection of the next superintendent? What attributes are the most important in the next superintendent? Gregg Weber.
Thank you. Obviously, the school board needs to ensure that the vetting process is thorough and seek detailed input from the previous district as well as law enforcement. I believe the school board needs to communicate with the staff of a previous school district for candidates and speak informally to staff members, not just administration, and get a real true perspective of what was this person like. Talk to cooks, you talk to custodians, you talk to everybody. What was this person like to work for and work with? Okay. Now, as far as educational background of experience of the superintendent, I believe that they should have been a teacher with years of teaching experience. They should have been a principal, and more than likely should have been a superintendent of a district as well, and hopefully with a doctorate degree. Gather input from community and staff. As far as guiding policies and procedures and decision-making, again, as it was mentioned here, it's a collaboration, okay? The community should be involved. The staff should be involved. Personal characteristics, obviously honest, open, respectful, empathetic, and collaborative. Those traits need to be in that person that we will hire as our new leader.
Hillarie Roth.
Thank you. First and foremost, I think it is of utmost importance to listen to the teachers, listen to the community, really listen to what those within the district are needing and wanting with an administrator. And, you know, I have to say, I mean, nobody saw this coming with PEGs. Nobody. None of us did. Terry, you said you had a great amount of grief over that, as did I. I think we as a community were all completely blindsided. I think all we can do is to try to move forward and find somebody with integrity, with honesty. Of course, we're going to try to vet them. I mean, we thought we vetted the last guy. He passed all of his criminal background checks. I mean, there was nothing we could have seen. So I think finding someone with the experience, finding someone that has been a superintendent, finding someone that we think has the integrity, and really just listening to what the teachers and the students and the community are saying. Honestly, maybe if we had listened a little more closely to what the staff and community were saying to the previous, not PEGs, but Biedron, you know, maybe it wouldn't have taken quite so long. So I'm all about communication. I think we all just need to listen.
Gary Neff.
Yeah. I actually agree with most of the comments that have been made about the superintendent search. I was not a part of either of the prior two searches, and that's why I'd like to be a part of the next one. I do think that the school staff and faculty, as well as the community, should be a part of this new process. The process is going to be taking place up through early April, because that's when all the superintendents are looking for jobs, and that's why it's as quick as it is. But I think that the more people that are a part of the process, the better it is. Our school board is a little small. Hillarie at one point was trying to help increase the size to 7 people, which I was supportive of, but we just couldn't quite get enough signatures. Because it's a tough decision. You know, it's a small school board. They need help. And the community involvement and the school involvement from the administration side can help input. Similarly, you know, Dan Peggs, he had no criminal record when he came here. All of what happened transpired 4 to 5 years ago. So the search committee and the search company that gave Dan as a, you know, is an internal choice, but all, you know, nobody picked up anything. And I agree with Connie Biedron that it sounded to me that even though I wasn't a part of the process, that maybe the vetting wasn't as good. I think Gregg was alluding to that. So we have to pay attention. We have to focus this time and do a better job. In terms of qualities of a superintendent, you know, it's kind of like, you know, an old college roommate said, well, what kind of woman would you like? I think I asked him that, and he listed about 20 different adjectives. But clearly we want a role model that we can, you know, look up to, the students can look up to, and the staff can look up to. Empathetic, integrity, all those adjectives. I won't list all the adjectives. But that person should be the highest quality person, you know, in the system. That's it.
Each candidate will now be given 2 minutes for a closing statement. Hillarie Roth.
Well, again, I just really want to thank everyone for coming out. I think you've heard my answers. You know that I'm about open, honest communication, integrity, relationship building, and I really do work hard at doing all of those things on a regular basis. I'm going to go sidetrack a little bit here because I've thanked all of you for coming, but it's my daughter Rebecca's 13th birthday, and this is how she's spending it. So, I mean, really and truly, thank you to my family for being good sports and for being so supportive, and like wish her a happy birthday, because above all else, I am a mom.
Gregg Weber.
Thank you. You can't go wrong with any of these candidates, seriously. You've got an awesome choice here. And again, it's been a privilege to be able to present to you. It was fun last year, having Jasper in class, Ava in class, Becca in class. The class of 2025 is an awesome class. They will do things. You watch, you wait and see. Again, I would love to be part of this board and watch the community of Altoona, the school district, grow. It's been my home for the past 33 years, and it will be until they carry me out in a black bag, I guess, out of my house, but whatever. We aren't moving, right, dear? Not off the lake, okay. Yeah, we aren't moving. So, again, thank you much. I'll do my best if elected.
Attorney Neff.
Thank you. You know, I think, as Gregg said, that probably any of us on the board, just by being here and going through the process, show that they're committed to the school system. I ask for your vote, but I think anybody up here would be fine. I did want to thank Ron Walsh, because I think he's a superior interim superintendent without his familiar face and experience, and he's the kind of guy that we're looking for. Unfortunately, he's getting ready to retire. He keeps on retiring, and we keep on telling him to come back. And then lastly, you know, I cannot speak more highly of the board that's presently there. Robin Elvig, 12 years of service. Dave Rose here, 7 years of service. Rick Risler is 2 years of service, and Dan Gluck, I don't know if he's here, I don't think he is, 1.5 years of service. It is a tough job. It is a tough job. Maybe in some prior years it was easier, but there's a lot of change going on, and so I think we need a steady hands at the wheel, all 5 of the steady hands. And I hope that you guys are a part of the active participants in the superintendent search, and we can get the ship back, you know, in a steady course. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Final announcements for tonight. Thank you to Valley Media Works, who is video recording the forum tonight. Check their website at valleymediaworks.org for a schedule of rebroadcast or to visit it on demand. Be sure to exercise your right to vote in the upcoming election. Early voting will be open March 23rd to April 3rd. In the city of Altoona, it will be weekdays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Altoona City Hall, 1303 Lynn Avenue. For district voters in other municipalities, check with your municipal clerk's office for early voting locations and hours. Election day is Tuesday, April 7. Polls will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Go to myvote.wi.gov to find your polling places. And I would like to thank everyone tonight. We were really glad we could come to Altoona tonight. I am an Altoona school resident myself, so I enjoyed listening very much. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.